The scent of fresh paint mixed with the earthy aroma of the old books in my store brought me back to reality. Yes, I was a lesbian who owned a bookstore, much to the disappointment of my Nana who still hoped for grandkids someday. But that's a story for another day. Today was special. It was the grand opening of the book Nook, and I was determined to make it perfect. My best friend and unofficial business manager, Emma, adjusted the display of rainbow pride flags on the wall. "You sure you don't want me to call in sick for work tomorrow? You could use the help." I eyed the mess of a display we still called a bookshelf. "Thanks, but I'm good. Just need to get these last few boxes unpacked." Emma patted my shoulder knowingly. "All right, but you owe me big time for helping you move all this crap." She winked. "Don't worry, you'll get your revenge. Maybe we'll find a spicy romance novel or two in here and I can do the reading for research purposes." I laughed, shaking my head at her antics, but secretly I was excited. Who knew what treasures we would find in those boxes filled with donated books? Just then, the bell above the door chimed and I turned to greet the customer. And that's when I saw her. A woman stood hesitantly by the entrance, her eyes scanning the room. Something about her stood out. Maybe it was the way she held herself or the gentle smile playing on her lips. But there was something undeniably captivating about her. I couldn't help but smile back. "Hey there, welcome to the book Nook. How can I help you?" I asked warmly, trying to project confidence. After all, I wanted my customers to feel comfortable in my store. This was my dream, my safe haven filled with stories and possibilities. "Oh, I was just browsing," the woman replied, her voice soft and melodic. She took a step further into the store, her gaze lingering on the colorful spines of the books lining the shelves. I watched her for a moment, appreciating the sight before me. Her dark hair cascaded down her shoulders like a silken waterfall, framing a face that seemed to glow with an inner light. There was a certain gentleness about her features, a kindness in her eyes that drew me in. But it was the way she moved, the subtle tilt of her head, the delicate curve of her neck that sent shivers down my spine. I tried to shake off the sudden flutter in my stomach. I had no idea who this woman was, but something about her presence stirred feelings within me that I couldn't quite understand. "If you need any help finding anything, just let me know," I offered, my voice betraying none of the turmoil my heart was causing. The woman looked up, meeting my gaze with a soft smile. "Thank you," she said, her eyes sparkling with warmth. "That sounds lovely," and with that, she turned and disappeared into the labyrinth of bookshelves. I stood there for a moment, my heart still pounding, unsure why her mere presence had such an impact on me. I shook my head, attributing it to the excitement of the day, to the fact that I had just spent months pouring my heart and soul into my bookstore. It had to be that simple. But moments later, I found myself drawn to the bookshelf where I had last seen her. As I moved through the rows of books, hoping to catch another glimpse of the mysterious woman, I felt a strange sense of anticipation building within me. What if this chance encounter led to something more? The idea was both exciting and terrifying. I had always been cautious when it came to matters of the heart. But there was something about the possibility of new beginnings, of finding someone who understood me, that tempted me. Was I ready for that? The question echoed in my mind as I continued my search. Then, tucked away in a quiet corner of the store, I found her. She was lost in a book, her brow furrowed in concentration as she read. I paused, watching her for a moment, lost in this world of words. She looked so engrossed, so alive. It was mesmerizing. Suddenly, I wasn't sure if I wanted to interrupt her concentration. But then I remembered my purpose. I was here to assist my customers, to guide them through the literary labyrinth I had created. With a newfound determination, I approached her, my steps lighter, my smile wider. I cleared my throat gently, hoping to draw her attention. And when she looked up, I saw a universe reflected back at me. Her eyes, oh, her eyes, they were pools of endless mystery, depths I longed to explore. Time seemed to stand still as we locked gazes. In that instant, I knew this was no ordinary customer. This was a connection, a magnetic pull that defied explanation. Gathering my courage, I spoke, my voice barely a whisper. "Can I help you find anything else?" The words sounded foreign to me, stilted and inadequate, but she didn't seem to mind. "Actually," she began, her voice like a soothing melody, "I was wondering if you could recommend a good book for me." She looked up at me, a playful twinkle in her eyes. "Something to match the decor, if you will." I laughed, relieved to find my composure. "Of course," I replied, leading her towards a cozy corner of the store. "What kind of books do you enjoy?" And so our conversation began, flowing effortlessly between the lines of poetry and novels. I found myself captivated not only by her choice of words, but by the emotions they conveyed. She was passionate, witty, intelligent, and her insights astounded me. I felt a connection with her that went beyond our shared love of literature. There was a spark, a chemistry between us that crackled in the air, and I couldn't help but lean in closer, eager to hear her thoughts, eager to share my own. As the afternoon wore on, the bookstore seemed to fade away. It was just the two of us in our own little world of words and whispers. And when the closing bell chimed, signaling the end of our first encounter, I felt a pang of disappointment. I had lost track of time, and now reality was crashing down around me. "I should probably go," she said softly, breaking the spell. I nodded, knowing she was right, but dreading the moment of parting. "Yes, of course," I murmured, my voice tinged with sadness. As she prepared to leave, I couldn't help but ask, "Would you like to come back? Perhaps we could continue our conversation over a cup of coffee." My heart pounded in my chest as I uttered the words. Was this too forward? Would she think me presumptuous? But her response surprised me. She turned back, a radiant smile lighting up her face. "I would like that very much," she said, her eyes sparkling with delight. I smiled back, relief washing over me. "Wonderful," I exclaimed. "Then it's a date." And with that, I scribbled my number on a piece of paper, handing it to her with a slight blush. She took it, her fingers brushing against mine, sending shivers down my spine. "I'll call you," she promised, her voice a sweet melody that resonated within me. As she stepped out into the twilight, I couldn't help but turn back to watch her go. The sight of her walking away, her figure bathed in the soft glow of the street lamp, was a vision I knew I wouldn't forget. My heart soared with a mixture of hope and anticipation. Could this be the beginning of something truly special? Only time would tell. And as the days that followed, I found myself counting down the hours until I heard her voice on the phone, until I saw her smiling face, until I could lose myself once again in the labyrinth of her eyes. The bookstore, once just a dream, was now a place filled with cherished memories and the promise of a love that defied expectations, proving that sometimes the most magical stories are the ones that happen to us in real life.